start soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Replenishing.
Welcome back, guys, once again to the lower bracket round 5 semifinal here between Overpowered People and Lowrun. Winner of this will move on to take on Zombiecock for the honor to move on to the grand finals itself. And whoa, we've already got some action, guys, coming out here. Nothing popping off, starting the game immediately off with a Lich Form there, but unfortunately Change hard countering that with a Moa is going to completely start to null out Lowrun here and put them in a very defensive position for the start of this game, if they can even recover from that, to be completely honest. That's a huge loss here, but once again they recovered from that in the last game as well, so we'll see if they'll be able to do it. They're up against a much better team this time, so we'll see how things go. Nothing, unfortunately, gets locked down there, though. He goes into the downstate. Lowrun does have a banner ready to go, and now Change starts to get low here as well. He will have the option to channel off the Mantra, but he's got to channel that for 2 3/4 of a second. No way he's going to be able to get that heal off, so Change will go into the downstate now. Random Name as well will fall down, and look at that! These sets are going so quickly. But Team Lowrun, even though they screwed up the opener there, still going to be taking game 1. Put them up 1-0 in the set, and 1 victory away from moving on to take on Zombiecock in the next game. Woo! Alright. Very fast. Didn't even get to introduce the teams, really. So once again here, it's Lowrun on the blue team. Just saw them take out Team... Apologies, just saw them take out Team Dig in the last game there. Once again, having Lowrun himself playing for the team, and nothing on Power Necro here. And then for Overpowered People, coming over quite a bit of victories today, even knocking out Zeus and Cade, who I believe probably were favorites to make it to the finals this week in the previous round there. We're seeing them play against this team as well. So with that said, however, very quick round 1 goes into the favor of Team Lowrun. And as such, this one more victory will be all they need to move on to the next game and eliminate Overpowered People.
Replenishing. I summon the power of
As soon as our teams are ready, we will begin with the second game. As a quick reminder, the comp over here for Team Overpowered People as well. You've got Boss A playing over here on a 60062 with Selly rifle NG build. Fairly typical build. Kind of emphasizes control over everything in my opinion here. It does have a little bit of spike damage that it brings out through the rifle, and as well has a decent amount of Connie damage too, just due to the choice of a Celestial Amulet. And then you've got Random Name once again. Also playing Selly Ellie. He's playing DD though. We'll switch out the DD obviously when the game begins. Staff is just for pre-game buffs. And again, this build's fairly typical for Elementalists too. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Lots of support to bring into play due to the boosted healing stats of the Celestial Amulet. We'll get a little bit of... It'll start at the damage somewhat weak in terms of his damage potentiality, but it'll get stronger and stronger as the fight goes on because of those runes of strength. But anyway, guys, the game is now beginning. So even though we can't really even analyze what happened there in the first game because it went so freaking fast, we're going to be seeing who takes game 2 now. As the gates open up, once more it is Overpowered People versus Team Lowrun. And now we'll see if Nothing is going to be as crazy as he was last time. He instantly popped that Lich before. Now I don't think, again, because of the fact that he knows now they're running Moa, but no, it loops around this time. But, hold on, where's Change? Oh, I thought Change was going to try to get a clutch Moa out of the corner there. Did not happen, and this Lich, he's in such a bad spot. It's not even the fact that he's been punished for popping this Lich, just the fact that Red Team got completely clear. Really good use of the LOS here at the moment from Team Overpowered People. You can see the Immobilize coming out here from Boss A. Boss A is very close to an LOS area if he needs to get to that. Just gonna swing around the pillars here. Nothing. Oh, so unfortunate. He was so hopeful coming out of this corner that he was just gonna be able to pop out the Lich and just punish his opponents, but not happening at all there. And immediately, very good comms from the Red Team, just diving onto Nos there once again, forcing him into DS. A lot of Condies rolling onto him here at the moment. We'll need to try and get rid of these somehow, some way. I believe he's running DD, so can get the Dagger 4 off. Even if he has enough health, though, he's going to go directly into the downstate. Random Name will now come in for the stomp, but not going to connect, however, because Orun has the Battle Standard ready to go, but still, huge damage spike still coming off onto Nothing here. It's still going to be enough. He goes into the downstate for a second time now. Bosse coming in with an Elixir S-Stomp, but that does not connect either. Orun, the Trooper here, keeping his teammate up and rolling. Nothing is now back up into play again, but another net turret manages to get an Immobilize on Nothing here. Nothing's going to go down now for a third time. I don't believe Owen will be able to save it this time, and there is just no damage going on to the members of the Red Team. Owen forced to get off the corpse here temporarily, and I think this is going to be the end of the round, guys. Orun has to push off. There's nobody really low over here for Overpowered People, so Overpowered People with a phenomenal round 2 is now going to tie the set up at 1-1 forcing us into a game 3. We obviously still have to wait for Oron to get eliminated. There's a small chance that he will be able to 1v2 this game, but in my opinion, that's rather unlikely considering the health pools and current state of Oron's health here. So, we're headed to another game 3, guys, to see who's going to move on to knock out or just to knock out or get knocked out by Zombiecock in the lower bracket finals. Oron's still hanging on, though. Taking him a little bit of time. They are playing a little bit risky, kind of walking right into these hammer combos. But there you go. Oron goes down, and now Overpowered People will tie the set back up at 1-1. Game 3 is coming up in just a second, guys. Stick around.
Starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy. Let's get this started.
Alright, folks, we are back once again here for round 3 of the lower bracket semifinal. Winner is moving on to take on Zombiecock and possibly moving on to the grand finals as well if they can get through them. But here we go, guys, once again here. Very quick start to combat. Same thing as the previous 2 rounds here. Blue team immediately diving onto the members of Overpowered People here. So we're going to see how things go. Interruption goes off there on the Nothing, immediately locking him down. Keep in mind, too, that Nothing is also swapped off of his Necromancer now and is now playing on Engineer, which, if I remember correctly, is actually his main here. So moves off of, again, kind of off-class for him, more onto something that he's a little bit more familiar with. This will definitely slow down the pace of the game here, as I believe he's actually running the same exact build that Bosse is running, and that appears to be the case. There might be a slight differential in the fact that he's chosen to run Balthazar runes instead of the Strength runes there, or not Strength runes. I think we saw Holbrecht runes being utilized by Bosse, but at the same time here, that actually will change up the scope of his damage here rather much as well here, because I don't think he's actually going to be getting any Strength stacking coming in from this build. No, not going to be the case there at all. So it will change up the damage of this build by quite a bit too. But other than that though, combat's still going into play here. We did actually see random name getting hit pretty hard here by that crate, as you can see. Got locked down, but again, no real follow-up damage onto that. You can see that there has been a little bit of a change up as to who's getting focused a little more here. You can see that Oron is actually kind of the prime focus here. He's a little bit more out in the front of the field here, so they are trying to take him down first. He's also just, I'm guessing, just closer to them, and as well is going to be hitting a lot more, is going to be getting hit by a lot more residual damage, specifically by random name, just due to all the AoE he throws out onto the field. And as you can see, Oron has gone down. Nothing is going to get a small opportunity to save him here with the toss elixir, as not a lot of corpse cleave coming out, so there's a pretty high chance that Oron will actually get back up, and there you go. Oron's now back up and into play here, but Nothing is now going to be in a risky position. Oron has the battle standard ready, does try to get this off here. No! Interruption. Oh, wait, no, actually, he gets the banner down, but immediately goes into the down state there, so he saves his teammate, and he's unfortunately in a very, very horrible position to be in the down state here. Even if we do see Nothing getting back up to where the corpse is located, it's going to be extremely hard to get the body back up into play. Oron's going to go down, guys, and with that said, Overpowered People should have an easy time knocking out Nothing, and even so, there you have it. Nothing's knocked out, so Overpowered People's going to take the victory here. They're going to get a 2-1 advancement on to the next set, and with that in our minds, we will have another rematch for Overpowered People coming up here in just a few minutes. It's going to be Overpowered People versus Zombiecock. Be right back, guys, with the lower bracket grand finals. Alright guys, this is it, the last game before the grand finals here. We are going to find our second finalist here in just a second. Is it going to be the double Necros? Are they going to move on? Are they going to repeat the previous game, or the previous time these two teams met, and move on to try and get revenge versus the Royal Paninis? Or are overpowered people going to find a correct comp to run to counter out these guys? And are they themselves going to move on to get their opportunity versus the double Elementalist squad on the Royal Paninis? We are just about ready to start here, guys. As soon as our teams are prepped, we can begin with this match. As a reminder, once more, it is going to be a best-of-3 set. The first team to 2 points will move on to the next round, and the losers will be eliminated from the tournament and go home with nothing tonight. As a quick reminder of the compositions here as well. Zombie will be running standard Kandi. I believe Nas will run the same exact thing. This was the same exact comp they ran versus this team last time they played in the semifinals of the winners bracket. So again, not going to change up what isn't working, essentially. Meanwhile, over here on the blue team, they are also going to run with the same comp they played versus this team last time. Random name, however,
let's get this started.
Is going to run with Diamond Skin. And because of the fact that I don't believe the red team scouted this out, because I didn't go over the builds before the game started, this might cause some trouble for Zombiecock. Because to be honest, obviously, again, they're going to need to somehow get their health pool, specifically Random Name's health pool, below 90% before they can put any sort of Kandis on him. And that is not going to be an easy task at all. So we'll see how it affects them in this game. Anyway, combat getting started here. Random Name diving in. They've just realized it, so we're going to see if they change targets up now on the change specifically. I think, to be honest there, they might have focused change anyway, just because of the fact that he's going to be, generally speaking, a little bit easier to kill. Zombie, however, does get hit by a Moa rather early on here. It is getting engaged on very efficiently by the members of the blue team, looping around here, eating through his Death Shroud at the moment, as you can see there. Bring out down to about 50% of his health pool, popped off CC and everything. Really doesn't have much left, to be honest, and yeah, we're going to have to see an emergency pop of the Plague Form in order to increase his health pool. Gets rid of the stability, though, and now that's going to be a huge problem for Zombie, trying to move within range of change so he can keep blinds rolling onto him, and actually not spamming blinds at the moment, still openly allowing the damage to roll. Ends that a little bit early there, and as well is going to jump into his DS, so he's got about 7k health inside of that. Once that ends, though, he's going to be in some serious trouble here. Has CC ready to go, just misses the opportunity to get that fully channeled, though, and as well, I think we actually saw an updraft coming in there from Random Name, so managed to interrupt that. Nas, however, does manage to just get the res up there. He used Plague Form as well, but he's going to have to sacrifice himself in order to execute that. And with that said, Random Name will come in for the stomp, knock Nas out, leaving only Zombie alive and on the field here. And with that said, overpowered people, even though in the previous set they didn't manage to take a single game off of them, they're going to come into this one here in the lower bracket grand finals much, much stronger and take the first game versus Team Zombiecock. Round 2 is coming up in just a second, guys, so stick around for that game.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
I could outrun a centaur.
Let's get this started.
Alright guys, welcome back once again to this lower bracket final here between Zombiecock and Overpowered People. Just saw Overpowered People take a pretty astounding game one there. Once again, complete 360 of what we had seen in the last set where these two teams faced off. In the prior set, Zombiecock was dominating there with the double Condi build. Absolutely destroyed their opponents over here on the team of Overpowered People, but we saw a complete reversal of that heading into this game where we saw Overpowered People just completely lock down the Necros, disallowing them to do pretty much anything, and allow them to take that game. Now, this time around, we're seeing an interesting rotation, to say the least, here from the Necros. Previous rounds, they wouldn't dare leave the proximity of their side of the map, but this round, for some reason, they have rotated completely to the other side of the map and are trying to do something very, very strange. Keep in mind, too, that again, because of the fact that we saw the hard counter coming in from random names running with Diamond Skin, he has not changed that, by the way. Moving over to Nas's point of view, he has actually gone to power. This is obviously going to allow them to have a much easier time trying to kill that Elementals, getting him below the 90% health pool, and should make it a lot harder for him to just in general stay alive. That was a pretty big part of the last round there, especially considering that the Necros opened with focusing on random name and wasted quite a few abilities actually trying to put Condis onto him. And once again, that'll make that a lot better this time. But at the moment, we're seeing that very passive state of play here that we ended up seeing previously when we had Zombiecock kind of at an advantage, actually. So I would almost go as far as to say that this is kind of what they want here. But obviously, they do have to be very careful of things like the blue team kind of rushing in onto them all of a sudden. They don't have super high mobility, so there's a very low chance of that happening, but still, with them kind of just wasting time rotating around the map here, there is the chance that eventually one of them might get impatient and just dive gun-ho into the Necromancers there. So again, here, we are waiting for some combat to happen. Nas and Zombie both going back into the chokehold corner here. Small chance that they may end up fighting, but I don't believe that they'll actually, blue team specifically, will want to be taking a risk on doing so here. Ooh, excuse me. It's a random name, switching over to his point of view for a second. Both of them kind of just rotating around the outside of the map as the game of chicken to start this actual match here continues. And there's not much else to talk about. The Necros want them to engage the blue team, that is, onto them, whereas the blue team wants the opposite. They want them to come to them, because I don't think that They probably know it now that they've heard it on stream, granted, but prior to the game actually starting, I don't think they actually confirmed the NOS running on Power Necro, so I think they kind of want to confirm that first of all here. Same thing for the red team. They haven't confirmed yet if Random Name's still running with Diamond Skin yet, so they need some way to test that here, and if they're unable to do that, granted, I'm pretty sure that they could have been able to figure out that Random Name was running with Diamond Skin still here. All they had to do was try and do one mark on him and see that he would have been immune, so, but anyway. We're still waiting, as both teams have come to a complete standstill. Well, this is just the epitome of competitive gaming, isn't it? Both teams are literally refusing to fight. We could draft a peace treaty in the meantime and just solve our issues the old-fashioned way. Politics. Hold on, we are seeing some movement again here. Mark does try to connect on the Random Name. Come on, Necros, don't run away. At least take the fight when it comes to you. Don't do this. They're again heading back into the corner here, so they do want to try and fight back there. Generally speaking, that actually should be a better spot for them to play in here when you take a look at it in general. They have more AoEs to throw down in that area. The Lich will work much, much better when fighting in this small, closed-off area, so that's definitely a wise choice to fight it back there. Unfortunately, they have to kind of be an asshole when provoking it, because of the fact that they have to force their opponents to fall back here, and blue team is smarter than that. They know obviously that not to come back here, so it's gonna lead to a bit of a stalemate here. But I think Nos got impatient. He's coming out of play here. Does try to connect that Mo over there as you saw Change doing that, but it completely missed that. But still, combat finally getting started here, guys. Here we go. Nos at the same time though getting locked down. They know he's a power necro, I believe. More damage connecting onto Nos here at the moment. Zombify too, trying his best to support, but unfortunately Nos's DS just getting eaten through here. Good shatter comes out there as well, as you can see. Nos just barely getting off his heel. Gonna go into a Lich, kind of an emergency Lich, has no choice here, but definitely getting the damage off. Random Name, he can get a reflect. He can completely screw over Nos. At the same time though, Nos gonna take far too much damage. He'll fall into the downstate now. Random Name heading over to his point of view. We're going to be seeing Nos still staying in the downstate. Zombify gets pushed over towards where the corpse is located. No attempt to go for the res on a Nos, to be completely honest. I don't think we'll see that at all. And with Random Name getting knocked out, or apologies, with Nos getting knocked out here by Random Name in just a second. Hold on though, Change is in some trouble here. Needs to get away. Change goes into the downstate, but Random Name now has the additional pressure going on to Zombify, so as long as, again, here we can see Random Name take Zombify into the downstate completely, they should easily be able to rally this back around here. Change, though, as you take a look at his point of view, he's just manually resurrecting himself over here. He's actually putting the Condi stacks going on to him at the moment, but Zombify really can't go over there and go for a corpse creep because he's just inviting himself to get DPS down if he ends up heading over there. So not going to be the best scenario for him. Zombify instead is just going to try and take the 1v1 over here. Hope he can get the Gimp off on Random Name, and if he can, well, then he's going to win this set, but he's left Change up for some time. Change is actually going to get the self-res, as you saw right there, due to the fact that Zombie was putting absolutely no pressure whatsoever onto him. And to note, too, Zombify, I thought he was still running Connie, but he actually did change up the build, too, to power, full power on both these guys, but as you saw there, didn't really end up working out too well. He's going to get knocked out. And with that said, Overpowered People will take the second game as well, which means they're going to eliminate Zombiecock here at the lower bracket finals, and they're now going to move on to take on the double Elementalist team in the grand finals. Royal Paninis versus Overpowered People is coming up in just a few minutes, guys. Stick around for the conclusion of this week's Mistpedia Weekly 2-on-2 Cup. We'll be right back, guys. for the last time tonight, guys. Welcome back to the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup number 25. My name is Blue, your host for this evening, and we're now coming to you from the Grand Finals. It is Royal Paninis with Captain Meower, Bob Law, and Avi over here on the red team, and they will be taking on a team that's completely new to the 2v2 Cups. Never before have we seen either of these guys participate before. It's going to be Random Name and Bosse over here on the blue side for Team Overpowered People. Once again, guys, quickly going over the compositions. Previous rounds, Royal Paninis was running with double Celestial, or not double Celestial, was running with double Elementalist over here, opting out on the last game to run with double Fresh Air Ellies, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case here right now. We will still see Captain Meower Boblaw running with 06044 SF Fresh Air, will be the name of the game here for Captain Meow, and meanwhile, Avi will jump onto his main Thief over here, will be running with Sword Dagger 20066 build again. Not too much damage by Thief standards, but will have quite a bit of dodging, and that'll be extremely useful versus players like Bosse as well. And then over here on the blue team for Overpowered People, Random Name on Ellie will be playing 00266 with Celestial Strength. Again, fairly standard build, nothing too out of the ordinary here with this. And Bosse as well will also be playing double Celestial with Runes of Hobrecht, Rifle, and the traits once more being 60044. As a quick reminder here, because Royal Paninis came in from the upper bracket and went undefeated there, they are going to be getting a one-game advantage here versus Overpowered People. But that won't matter too much. Oh, it's obviously going to matter quite a bit, but it isn't going to be as much of an impact as it would have been in the other rounds because this is now a best-of-5 set. The first team to 3 points will win tonight's cup and be getting 2,000 gems per player. Second place will be going home with 800 gems per player. With all that out of the way, we are just about ready to get started, guys, with our first game. So as soon as we are set to go, we will be getting started with our first game of the Grand Finals between Royal Paninis and Overpowered People. Let's get to it, guys.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
I could outrun a centaur.
Let's get this started.
With the game getting started here, once again, we do see the blue team pushing forward somewhat aggressively, but meanwhile, over here on the red side, they're actually going to take their time coming out of the base. I thought they were going to go for stealth, but then I remembered Avi's running SD, so not going to be happening there. Anyway, moving out of the fence here. We do see specifically Avi diving directly through play here, immediately onto Bosse to try and lock him down. Keep in mind, again, if they let him go free, it's going to be so much CC specifically for Avi to try and deal with here. So it's going to be a very crucial thing for Avi to try and knock that out. Actually kind of waste the energy steal there. Not sure if he just didn't want to have that for some reason, but got rid of it for whatever reason. Moves in. Very good job getting out of the way. Just as that immobilize connects from net turret 2, would have avoided quite a bit of Condi Spike had he had stayed in there. But thankfully will not be getting hit by that because he bailed out. Avi, though, diving once more over here onto Bosse. Bosse currently sitting at about 60% of his overall health pool. But look at that big burst comes in from SF Fresh Air. Brings him down to a low state of health. Is regenerating quite well, though, at the moment, though. Sitting within range here, trying to move away. And thankfully will get away from the fight because Captain Meow also kind of has to back up here. SR comes out, but that's going to be the ticket for them to throw in grenades. Thankfully, our swirling winds will be available from Captain Meow to use both in stealth here at the moment. I think actually Avi came out of it. So blue team going to move away, but here's the Ellie. Another big burst attempt to come on to Bosse, but an updraft comes in there from Random Name, too, to stop that from happening. Going over to Captain Meow's point of view. Bit of an emergency pop of his Mistform there, too, just to avoid damage. Other than that, though, moving closer and closer to Avi to try and get some more spike. They are trying so hard to focus down Bosse. Captain Meow, though, may end up paying the price for this. He has to keep in mind a few things here again. Because he's running away, this Ellie's just going to start free casting on him, and that has now taken its toll, as you can see. Random Name gone into the down state now, popping off his Vapor Form. Avi's going to try to come over and do something to save his teammate, but unfortunately, again, the DD Ellie in general is a much better counter in the fight here. Avi getting so close to the res. Updraft stops the res process, and Avi's very low. Avi's going to go down there now, too. And with that, blue team, Overpowered People, is going to be taking game 1 and will immediately tie the set up at 1-1, eliminating the initial advantage and bringing it back down to 2 victories needed for both of our teams to move on, or not even move on, to win this week's cup. We will be back in just a second, guys, with game 2 as soon as our teams have rejoined and are ready to play.
starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Welcome back, folks, once again here to the grand finals now. It is going to still be tied up here with Royal Paninis having their one-game advantage by default. Overpowered people just took game one here. And with that said, we're now going to be heading into our second round to see who will take the advantage a little bit early on in this set. It's not going to end the set. Keep in mind here, guys, the winner won't. It's still a best-of-5 set, so teams need at least 2 more victories to move on to the next round. But what is Blue Team doing here? Interesting positioning to note this on them, too. They were kind of separated a little bit there. Another thing to note, too, is that Captain Meow or Bob has actually switched over to Celestial DD Ellie, so we have a much more meta build, at least of our 2v2 perspectives, being used here in play at the moment. Bosse, however, you take a look at him, he's getting focused on pretty hard at the moment and has been forced to use quite a few cooldowns to actually get out of the way of that random name as well. Nice job doing the peels for him, but once again, Abby jumping up here, tries to get the immobilized connection, does get that. Whoa, nice CC spike comes off there onto Abby, immediately following that into another pool as well. Abby having to panic pop 2 if not 3 if not 3 shadow steps there to kind of get out of that, but still good management of Abby regardless. Moving back over here to Abby's point of view to try and watch. Bosse getting very low. Elixir S popped by him. Might not have much left here to try and keep himself up and alive. You can see, though, good option, too, of having the blue team fight over here on the south side. There's a lot of AOS. There's a lot of kind of trick shots that these guys can do to hopefully get out of the way of damage here by fighting on the south side of this arena. When you're fighting around here up on the north edge, you don't really get a lot of that. And unfortunately, if you're caught in the open, there's not many places you can go to try and escape. Thankfully, when you're fighting on the south or north side, there is a little bit more verticality to play with, and you have a few more ways to try and jump your way out of a situation. Moving into the next fight, though, as these guys start to re-engage, Abby does make a little bit of a mistake, dives in a little bit too close to that grenade barrage and gets hit pretty heavily by that, so he's going to be pulling back here for the time being. But Magnet Pool comes in, 5 stacks confused as well, will connect over there from Bosse as he starts to move closer. Blue team on the warpath now as they try to chase him away. Abby might be trying to bait, though, but he's got to be careful of that. Has a Bazzy Venom ready to go here. If he can connect onto one of those guys, it might be trouble here. Bosse, however, nice choice of usage on, nice time to use the gear shield there once again. And now you can see Captain Meow kind of priming for his chance to move in. Keep in mind another thing here too is the fact that the red team's damage is going to be severely reduced, but they will be having, just in general, due to the build changes that we saw here, no longer running with the SF Fresh Air build. He's going to have a lot less damage, obviously, but will have a lot more support. So Abby can make a lot more mistakes. Abby can get himself into a lot more trouble with Connies and whatnot. Same thing for Captain Meow, obviously, and they can still kind of come out of that situation with a couple less scratches on them as they would in the last fight because Meow has just a little bit more support to offer there as well as less damage. But moving away from this now. Rather slow fight happening at the moment here. Waiting for somebody to get focused down at the moment here. Now does try to go for the knockdown. Connects on a random name, but again, red team has no interest whatsoever in focusing down random name. They are, I would almost say, tunnel vision on the Bosse here at the moment. And this is actually, to be completely honest, this is kind of what killed them in the last round here because of the fact that, once again here, they focused so heavily on trying to kill Bosse that they risked everything on killing him. And with that said, Random Name was just able to freely DPS these guys, specifically Captain Meow, until he ended up going into the downstate here. It seems, though, that for the time being, at least, the red team's gambit is going to slightly work here. We do have Bosse in the downstate. Random Name, as well, is under a lot of pressure. Connie's getting very close indeed. Another cluster bombs coming in here as well from Aviatori. If those cluster bombs do enough damage, they can not only knock out Bosse, but kill Random Name. And I think that is going to be happening here. Only 1.2k health. Random Name will be going down here in just a second. And with that, the blue team will be getting knocked out here. Royal Panini strikes their revenge. They win their first game in this set. And now they're going to bring the score up to 2-1. Putting Royal Paninis in the winning position here if they're able to take the next round. And now really putting overpowered people on their toes for that next round, guys. Round 3 is coming up in just a second, so stick around for the continuation of the grand finals of the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup, number 25. We'll be right back, guys.
chance to nail down your strategy.
I feel good.
Welcome back to the finals once again, guys, of the 2v2 Weekly. We are at game, set, match point here for Royal Paninis. If they take this next game, it's all over, and they're going home with top prize, 2,000 gems per player tonight. However, once again here, if overpowered people can rally themselves together and take the set back here in round 3, they're going to take us to a round 4, the final round of this match, to see who will be going home with that prize tonight. But at the start of this game here, taking a look as to where the red team is. Can see here that they are actually waiting here to try and get a better angle on where their opponents are hanging out here at the moment. I think actually Captain Meow might have been AFK. Do we have a DC here? Possibly from Abby. If there is, we can reset. Nope. Okay. For whatever reason, he was just standing there. Anyway, he gets hit with a nudge, unfortunately. So he's going to get kicked out of his base. But taking a look here once again, blue team patiently waiting for their opportunity to get some damage off onto their opponents. Red team will make the first move, however, diving in over here specifically onto Basse. Basse doing a nice job getting out of the way of the initial burst. Does have to quickly pop a gear shield, however, because we see Abby diving in. The Basse event once again does end up connecting. Nice amount of condies, as you can see over here, are going as a retaliatory strike back onto Abby. Another crate comes down here too. Not sure how well that crate did, but as you can see, definitely caused the panic. Forced them to fall back over here towards mid and jump into their SR as well. So definitely has done its job, at least for the time being. But unfortunately, the scope of combat is going to be changing. They will be moving away from where those turrets are located, so they are not really going to be able to assist them later on. Unfortunately, they're really only going to get the benefit of kind of ending that fight temporarily. Anyway, though, moving into our next engagement here, we do see random name going into play, popped off the stun field, and as well, we could see the stuns connecting onto both of those guys. Again, not much of a follow-up onto that, though, so no serious consequences as of yet. This is generally speaking kind of the early phase of the game where both teams are kind of moving through their cooldowns. Both teams are whittling through what they can use here. It's within the next few seconds, I would say, possibly about 30 seconds to a minute here, that we're really going to start to see the players weaken. They're going to run out of cooldowns. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to get hit by huge amounts of burst or condies here. And that's when we'll start to see players start to go into the downstate. This is, again, a much slower pace of game due to, generally speaking, the mediumly tanky builds that everyone seems to be running here at the moment. You've got Captain Meow again on DD Celielli, Random Name and Bossy are both on Selly builds here, and then Aviatori is running with SD Thief, which generally speaking, at least in my opinion, is the medium build just due to the fact that it's really hard to hit with all the dodges it has available to it there. So everybody, again, it kind of causes a much slower pace of combat here, but once again here, at the end, someone is still going to end up on the floor, someone is still going to end up in the downstate, and one team is still going to end up with the victory. But once again here, big burst connected onto Abby. Abby now in the downstate. Meow forced to pop so many cooldowns to try and get Abby back up. Not even sure if he can do it, though. Knockback updraft specifically coming off there from the Ellie once again to push it away. Meow's taking so many hits, only 2k health remaining on Captain Meow. He goes down, and with that, Overpowered People is now going to be taking this game and taking us to a round 4, fully loaded set here in the grand finals of this week's Cup. And we are now going to be having another round, guys. Stick around. Final round of this week's Cup coming up in just a few moments.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the last game of tonight's tournament. We have a fully loaded set here in the grand finals of this week's Cup. It's Royal Paninis once again over here on the red team with Captain Meow, Babla, and Aviatori. Once again, running with the spec here of an Elementalist, DD Ellie specifically, as well as Sword Dagger Thief. Meanwhile, on the blue team, newcomers for this week are going to be Overpowered People with Random Name and Basse. Basse again running with Celestial Rifle Engineer, and Random Name running again the same build as Captain Meow, DD Celestial Elementalist. Coming out of the gates, blue team did take the northern exit. which again, if red team had come out the front side and wrapped around this way, would have been an excellent opportunity for blue team to take a gank, but unfortunately they did not take too much of an advantage on that, as red team ended up going out the normal side and headed towards the southern side. Generally speaking, that's kind of been where Panini's has opted to fight for the majority of this game, so not too surprising to see them head down there again for this final match here. Blue team is trying to change themselves up a little bit. I think they actually want to try and force a fight back over here in the corner. Keep in mind, again, this corner is very, very annoying to fight in, especially if you don't really have a lot of access to AoEs and stuff, because you're going to be forced into a fight where you have to deal with quite a bit of AoE pressure, and if you're not really able to deal with that, then, well, you're just going to get melted, as there's not a lot of ways out of here either. You really only have 3 exits. Going to be heading downstairs, which opponents can easily follow you out of there, or you have to make your way through one of these chokeholds here. Heading down to the southern side very quickly, though, we did actually see a couple seconds ago Meow kind of poking through over there just to try and investigate, see if he could bait someone out. Not too successful, however. Blue team didn't really seem to take it. So with that said, he ended up falling back once more over here to the southern side, but it looks like he may be trying to go for that bait again. Moving forward a little bit here. Avi as well, grouped up with him. Both of them go straight in there with a Ride the Lightning. I believe we saw an updraft coming out from Random, the name that connected onto Meow. Meow going to dive directly in over here onto Basse, though, tries to get the pressure. Seems as though that actually Random name is going to be the pressure this time, which if that is the case, it's going to be a pretty drastic change up on the focus. Keep in mind, too, it's actually going to be a pretty risky choice of a target here, simply for Avi to deal with. Again, you can see that Avi immediately screwing up, actually gets hit pretty heavily by Kanye Baraz. Elementalist damage connecting onto him. But anyway, going back to what I was saying about the risky choice target here for Avi. Avi, again, it's not really something he wants to go for. He does not want to try and focus down the alley just because of the fact that there is a lot of AoE spike in the area that he has to deal with. With Basse, a lot of it is more directed. He has to be facing him directly, and because of that, it's a lot easier for Avi to kind of circumnavigate around, use the sword abilities, and kind of take an advantage in that regard. Basse is a much better target, and they want to make sure that they're focusing on him. In the meantime, though, we did see Blue Team getting a nice opportunity to focus down on Captain Meow, getting locked down here. Avi's got to do something, otherwise Meow is going to be going down. He's actually is going to go into the down state here, but Avi waiting far too long to get an engagement off. Basse is somewhat low over here, sitting at about 40% of his health pool, but at the same time, Avi has to do something to save his own teammate, and I'm not sure if he can. Does go for the burst over here onto Basse. Basse very low. His healing turret comes down though, and Captain Meow goes down, and with Avi getting knocked out, the newcomers this week, Overpowered People, are your champions of the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup, number 25. They will each be going home with 2,000 gems tonight, so congratulations once more to Random Name and Basse. Each of them are taking home that first place prize. As for our second place team, though, very well fought indeed by those guys as well. Royal Paninis with Aviator and Captain Meow. Each of those guys is going to be getting an 800 gem code. And that will end the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup, number 25. Give me just a second, guys, to talk to the teams. But once again, as I said, that is the end of the cup tonight, guys. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Unfortunately, don't have any giveaways to do for you tonight, but these are weekly cups, guys, and these are all open, completely open. Anyone can enter these cups. If you are interested in signing up for one of these cups, go ahead over to the PvP events forum. We do have a sticky post over there with more information on how these cups work. Keep in mind, we also run a Conquest Cup every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, the same time that this cup started tonight, if you're interested in participating in that. The links to the sign-ups to the cup can also be found over at battlefy.com/Mistpedia, battlefy.com/Mistpedia. Go ahead over there. We usually have the new tournaments for the week posted by the weekend, either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. Just keep your eyes on that for new links. Keep in mind as well that ESL also runs a weekly cup, so if you're a European player and looking to participate in a 2v2 cup over on the European servers, go ahead over to ESL's website, esl.eu/EU/Guild Wars 2, where you can find out more info on that. Other than that, guys, be sure to follow Mistpedia on Twitter and Facebook to be kept up to date, and as well, we do lots of giveaways over on those accounts, so if you'd like to win some gems, maybe a llama here or there, I'm not promising anything, but you never know. Go ahead over and follow those accounts for a chance to win some stuff, as well as to be kept up to date with all the stuff we are doing. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, there is a link down below where you can do so. Tournament VODs for tonight will be uploaded to the Team Miss/Mistpedia YouTube channel over at youtube.com/Mistpedia, so be sure to check that out as well. And other than that, guys, I hope you all have an excellent night, and we will see you all next time at Mistpedia Weekly 2v2 number 26. Have a good one, guys. See you later. Shot there, so the res pressure still went off, and Chat will go down. But hold on, yeah. Ventari's low, but now Sizer's so low though. Sizer, hold on, Sizer getting the heal off. Will Ventari go down? Ventari will go down, and Chat gets himself back up into play now. Sizer's low, and he takes Sizer down. Oh my goodness.
Either 30 seconds, they're really trying to push in. They still have that one cap in their favor as well, but CM is just completely over them at this point. Let's see again.
18 seconds.
Pushing it super throwing down the fire field here at the moment. They're trying their best to focus the Lord. 10 seconds left in the game. The Lord's about 80% health. They're trying. They're just really trying. 60, 40, 5 seconds. Here we go.
If they get this,
health.
it's possible. They might get this, Blue.
Oh my goodness.
No! Yes, they got it!